Imagine stumbling across a popular YouTube channel where family life is on full display. Laughter, bonding, discipline, all for the world to watch. The channel belongs to Ruby Franke, a mother of 6 with strict views on parenting that have gained her a controversial reputation. For years, millions have tuned in to witness the Franke family's journey, fascinated by Ruby's no-nonsense approach. But as time passed, the boundaries between discipline and cruelty began to blur, and this seemingly perfect family hid secrets darker than anyone could imagine. In August 2023, Ruby Franke was arrested accused of child abuse, shocking her followers and raising questions about what was really happening behind the scenes. Ruby Franke launched her YouTube channel, 8 Passengers, in 2015, documenting the daily life of her family. She and her husband Kevin, along with their 6 children, shared every aspect of their lives, from family meals to punishments and the ups and downs of parenting. In a world where family vlogging was booming, 8 Passengers managed to carve out a unique space. Ruby's distinct approach to parenting, often stern, sometimes unconventional, gathered her a loyal audience that resonated with her tough love philosophy. Ruby presented herself as a strict but loving mother, someone who valued discipline and structure above all else. Over time, her audience grew into the millions, and her family became internet sensations. But as the popularity of the channel increased, so did the controversies. Ruby's methods, which she claimed were simply strict parenting, began to feel unsettling to some viewers. Episodes showing her withholding meals from her children, enforcing severe punishments, and sharing her kids' struggles publicly sparked concerns about potential emotional and psychological harm. However, Ruby stood firm, defending her parenting style and attributing any criticism to a lack of understanding of her values. In 2021, Ruby partnered with Jody Hildebrandt, a licensed therapist known for her controversial counseling practices, to create a program called Connections. Together, they aim to teach principles around personal responsibility, family structure, and accountability. Hildebrandt's philosophy centered on what she called radical honesty, which involved facing one's actions without excuses. In Hildebrandt's world, discipline was key, and accountability often meant placing blame squarely on oneself. No matter the circumstances, the Connections program promoted a belief system that some followers found empowering, but many others found troubling. The emphasis on rigid personal responsibility and severe accountability sometimes appeared to cross the line from guidance to blame. For example, in their teachings, there was often little room for understanding or empathy. Instead, it was about complete personal ownership, which critics argued was a harmful approach, especially in a therapeutic context. Ruby, however, found a mentor in Jody, and the Connections philosophy became a guiding force in her life. As she embraced this ideology, her parenting style shifted from strict to what many began to perceive as severe. The influence of Connections was soon visible in Ruby's content. Episodes on her channel began to reflect the rigid doctrines of Connections, with Ruby implementing more extreme measures of accountability with her children. The partnership with Jody intensified her strict beliefs, creating a breeding ground for an environment that viewers would later argue bordered on abusive. But to those who questioned her parenting, Ruby maintained that her methods were simply part of a larger plan to teach her children responsibility. Despite the loyalty of some fans, Ruby's approach raised red flags for others. Concerned viewers began noticing alarming patterns in her videos. One notable episode involved Ruby describing how she had withheld food from her 6-year-old daughter, claiming it was a consequence for failing to complete chores. In another instance, Ruby's son was seen sleeping on a beanbag in the family's living room because, as punishment, he had lost his bedroom privileges for several months. Ruby faced backlash online, with countless viewers arguing that her punishments were too harsh, bordering on cruelty. Some even reached out to Child Protective Services, CPS, reporting concerns in hopes of intervention. Despite these complaints, no formal action was taken at the time. Ruby continued creating content, and her followers were left to wonder whether they were witnessing genuine discipline or something far more sinister. the online outcry grew louder, with petitions and organized campaigns pushing for authorities to investigate the Franke family. Ruby, however, ignored the criticisms and, if anything, doubled down on her beliefs, assured that her parenting style was simply misunderstood. In August 2023, the facade that Ruby had carefully constructed for years began to crumble in the most disturbing way possible. One of her children, reportedly a young boy, managed to escape from Jody Hildebrandt's residence, where he had been staying, and fled to a neighbor's house seeking help. The child was visibly injured and malnourished, with clear signs of distress. According to reports, he had duct tape around his wrists and ankles and appeared to be in a weakened state. The neighbor, alarmed at the child's condition, immediately contacted authorities, who arrived on the scene to investigate. What they found was shocking: a child in physical pain, clearly neglected, and seemingly desperate to escape a dangerous environment. When the police searched Hildebrandt's home, they discovered another one of Ruby's children in a similarly concerning condition, leading to the arrest of both Ruby and Jody on charges of aggravated child abuse. The details of the case were deeply disturbing. Authorities believed that these incidents were not isolated, but part of a pattern of mistreatment that had likely been occurring for an extended period. As the investigation unfolded, more unsettling information came to light, suggesting that the influence of connections and the extreme disciplinary practices promoted by Hildebrandt had played a significant role in the way Ruby treated her children. The psychological influence of connections on Ruby cannot be overlooked. Hildebrandt's philosophy, which emphasized radical accountability and removed room for vulnerability, had a powerful effect on Ruby's mindset. The teachings of connections bordered on what some psychologists might describe as coercive, with the rigid ideas of personal responsibility almost pushing a form of reprogramming. Ruby, already inclined towards strict parenting, found validation in Hildebrandt's teachings, which likely made her believe she was providing a unique, even superior, form of parenting. But the extremity of these beliefs, especially within a family setting, seems to have had a damaging effect, transforming a household into what some might describe as an authoritarian environment devoid of compassion. This case has led many to question whether Hildebrandt's teachings themselves may have inadvertently promoted unhealthy or even abusive dynamics within families. For Ruby, the influence of connections made her believe that her extreme measures were justified, and any dissenting opinion was simply a lack of understanding of the philosophy. Once news of Ruby's arrest spread, the reaction was swift and fierce. Former fans, family vloggers, and child advocacy groups voiced their horror and disappointment. Social media became flooded with posts dissecting Ruby's content, and YouTubers from various genres weighed in, dissecting episodes of 8 Passengers and highlighting moments that, in hindsight, seemed to reveal early signs of abuse. Many creators released videos providing deep analyses of Ruby's content, looking for clues that abuse had been happening long before her arrest. Some of these videos went viral, bringing renewed attention to Ruby's case and the broader issues surrounding family vlogging. The term momfluencer took on a darker meaning as more people realized the potential consequences of exposing one's family life to the world, especially when discipline crosses a line into something far more sinister. The case of Ruby Franke is a stark reminder of the ethical gray areas surrounding family vlogging. In a world where private lives are broadcast for public entertainment, the boundaries between what is acceptable and what is exploitative can easily become blurred. Family vloggers earn revenue by sharing personal moments, but when children are involved, questions of consent and privacy become critical. That Ruby's story has amplified these concerns. How much should children be exposed to public scrutiny? Are they able to consent to their lives being broadcast to millions? For Ruby's children, the channel that once brought them fame has now left them vulnerable to the repercussions of their mother's decisions. Many have called for more stringent regulations on family vlogging, arguing that platforms like YouTube should implement guidelines to protect children's privacy and well-being. Ruby's case is a chilling example of what can happen when parental authority is unchecked, especially when mixed with online fame and a potentially harmful belief system. As of now, Ruby's children have been placed with family members, and legal proceedings are ongoing. The Franke family's future is uncertain, with Ruby and Jody facing serious charges that could lead to lengthy prison sentences if convicted. The content that once documented their family's journey has now become evidence, a digital archive of a troubling reality that many failed to recognize at the time. For those who followed the Franke family, the case serves as a painful reminder of the potential dangers that lie beneath the surface of picture-perfect online personas. In a world where likes, comments, and views can sometimes hold more, Ruby Franke's 8 passengers case has shown the darker side of online fame and parenting under the public eye. The allure of internet success, combined with a controversial approach to parenting, created an environment where discipline crossed into troubling territory, with connections philosophies acting as fuel. Ruby's story has led to widespread discussions about accountability, particularly concerning the well-being and protection of children in the digital age. Questions now linger around the rights and protections of children in family vlogging. Many are calling for platforms like YouTube to introduce policies protecting minors, preventing harmful or exploitative practices in content creation. In Ruby's case, what was once entertainment became disturbing evidence in a legal investigation. With her choices under the intense scrutiny of the law and the public alike, the haunting reality for her children now lies in piecing together a life outside the online persona they once shared. As the legal proceedings unfold, Ruby Franke's case has left an indelible mark on the internet landscape, prompting creators, viewers, and legislators alike to rethink the implications of sharing family life online. This case will likely influence changes in online family content for years to come, as viewers and regulators alike push to protect the privacy and safety of children caught in the public eye. In the end, the Franke case serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the brightest online lights can cast the darkest shadows.